Alright guys, this is actually part 2 of the one that I was making about my encounter today with, I guess by consensus, some of the most evil people in this world. Yeah, the king of the street, basically. So, it's very traumatizing really talking about it. So this is part 2. So once he made that statement, that strong statement, just telling me that, oh, don't go started there. I think he was really hitting for what he achieved, but it's not that. I mean, if I say I'm not scared, I'd be lying because I get scared all just for no reason, and mainly because of my condition. But really at that point I was like, you know what, I'm not gonna try to, if this guy has no understanding or no sense or really by purpose or whatever that is, by whatever he thinks he's very intelligent, he's trying to pull that off or whatever, uh, I'm not gonna argue or trying to freakishly do whatever. And I think his whole thing was like, that I been trespassing and this is a bus stop, something like that. Now also you have to understand this young circle is where the buses stop. The thing about it is that basically, I don't know, I mean it's behind the Publix, former Publix. I mean they moved actually to the other side, so then that place is actually vacant and it's empty. But my thing is, I don't know, technically would that be considered just like a sidewalk, the back of the store where the bus stops, where the thing is, the benches are, or is it considered freakishly actually part of the property? But that's another story. Now, think about it, is that here's the part that really gets me, is that they didn't even ask me. I mean, if you would have asked me, I would have said, actually, I'm not waiting because for some, I just can't, I really don't want to lie and I can't really lie. Then again, this is part of the thing, you feel very guilty about something, so, and I'm not a good liar, and I think that a lot of times if I had lies, I start freakishly looking so guilty that before anybody else wants to feel that, I feel like I've committed like a very mass crime. So it just doesn't make it any better if I want to lie anyways. But he didn't even ask me, are you waiting for the bus or anything? He literally just completely took the notion that this man is homeless and he doesn't have a place, and so he's sleeping in the bench, and let's go fuck with him. Just like that. That's the only thing, because he didn't even ask me a question. So, are you waiting for the bus? What's going on with you? Are you trying to go somewhere? And you think about it. This is in the middle of the daylight, and I literally fell asleep for a half hour, and I don't know what to tell you. Like, you have to be a pure evil to really. Well, you know how they are. Like, I don't know if you ever had this thing happen to you. Whenever they start talking to you, this is where it really, situation little by little starts getting more expressive. That's the thing. Initially, the line that they pull on you is that, okay, we didn't know you're dead, you were passed away, we wanted to check on you. That's the wording they use. So that checking, literally, if you will, you don't really have to get out of your car. You can just freakishly pass by, or really you can just stop by and be like, hey buddy, are you okay? I mean, I still don't get it, because that's the funny thing. I don't understand this whole legality of this concept of you want to be helpful here, and how is it that when I'm in a city or somewhere, I don't understand that nobody gives a shit. Matter of fact, you could be really technically dead, and neither people or nobody gives a shit, and it might be just a matter of a few days passes by, maybe somebody get a notion, oh, dude, I've been seeing this guy for 2-3 days and he literally haven't moved. Like, technically, literally, as you guys Americans say, literally he hasn't moved. It's not funny, but it's funny, it never happens. And so yeah, then he starts saying, oh, don't go there, you're the one who's a criminal, you've been trespassing, you've been sitting here. And he starts pulling out his pen, So here's what happened. I actually been trying to get a job, and it's funny is that's the part that really made today a terrible day. And man, this motherfucker, like seriously, like people like him like need to be locked up. That's all. I mean, they need to be punished. Like they need to be brought to justice, and they need to. I don't know how they want it. I mean, this is one thing I can tell you. So this is what happened. So I found this. I'm from Iran, and I mean I do speak Farsi and Persian. And recently I've been trying for look for find for works that I without having to go actually to places I can do it. There's this one company that basically they offer basically they want translate interpreters, interpreters through the phone, so we can work for them. And actually funny is that it's actually like a rather part-time or full-time position where you get paid for certain hours regardless of the work volume, which might be a good thing, might be a bad thing, but you also get some kind of benefits, stuff like that, which was so cool. And we already had a conversation with the woman, but and I passed the test. It's just basically to follow up and complete the whole thing. She was gonna call me back, and funny is that the second that I knew that she sent me a message. She sent me an email yesterday saying, "Okay, I'm gonna call you tomorrow at 12." But she called about 12:15 when I actually saw the phone log afterwards. Oh, son of a evil, man. So, believe it or not, for the last 10 years, ever since this happened to me, I never had a regular job, because this also another part of it, because actually the whole thing, this condition started off because I had a very awful, abusive boss that I was dealing with. Was an Iranian man for 2 weeks, literally. All I know is that when I walked out his office, that he was holding me up for 2 hours there, talking shit to me the whole time, and I was just taking the whole thing without saying a word back to him, which I should have had. But this is a fucking part that I guess everybody plays on, to try to employ that fear factor, just like this motherfucker cop was doing the same thing, basically. And it hurts so bad. I mean, you're creating a lot of friction here that could... see, if you say something, then be like, oh shit, so you're trying to do something, or So yeah, when they do something, it's perfectly fine, but if you expressing anger, or expressing, basically the fact that you feel you're being abused here, then they're like, oh shit, well, what are you trying to go with this? Okay, whatever. So I never had a job, really. I've had some temporary works here and there, or day jobs, things like that, and the whole thing really surrounds one thing, because this man treated me that way. I told myself, I mean, I didn't tell myself, it's just like working for somebody felt like being under control and underneath of somebody, literally, like, just get to fuck with you. So that whole thing turned to me. And I want to say this, his name is Sasan Nikha. This man is a criminal in a sense, and I was working for this guy in Montgomery County, basically in Silver Spring, for literally for 2 weeks. And at the end of the 2 weeks, this thing happened, and exactly in his office, this whole thing happened when I was started shaking. And since then, this happened in 2007, and today is 2018. For the last 11 years, I was never able to compensate myself, more or less, even as hard as I tried. So this thing had happened very recently, and I was like, you know what, maybe God is really looking up to me, and finally, after all these years of suffering, maybe I'll be able to have some kind of a really stable income coming in, and all I have to do is just really have my phone on me, and I would pick up the evening shift, where if something happens, during the evening, I would do it. So today she was calling, and when these people were talking to me, this is when she called, and she's called me 3 times, actually. Man, it hurts so bad, man. Fuck that motherfucker. I hope he pays for this shit. That's all I can say. Legally, yeah, pays for it. I hope he legally pays for it. So anyways, I knew that she's call and she's the one because I don't have anybody call me. I don't have any friends. Just make it simple for me. All my friends that I had from back in the day, they all just when they felt like something's not right with me, they just walked off out of me. And even if I had ran to some friendship or something, it was just a very short term because I think at some point they realized I have some condition, and I don't know how this is really translated into something that concerns them, but nobody really wanted me. And be honest with you, when somebody's like that, I don't make any effort or minimally any effort to try to find out or follow up with them either, because if somebody's so evil and satanic that that's their mentality, it just doesn't leave any room for me wanting to do anything either. So she was ringing, this woman that I've been talking to for a job, and I said to this man, I said, listen, somebody's called me for work, I really need to pick this up. He said, no, you can't pick up your phone, no. And she called the second time. I let it go. I said, you know what, let me tell him that it's really emergency, I really have to take this. I might lose my job for this. And the third time he said, brother, this is really emergency and I really need to take it. He said, no, you can't take a call. And if you want to go that way and you want to be like that, you're going to be arrested. He didn't say the word arrest, but he said, you've been trespassing. You're the one who's criminal. You're the one who's wrong. You know where it's going to end up. This is going to take a whole different, you want to play that game with me. Yeah, this is exactly his tone. And he started standing in my face, getting his face into my face with all this fucking heck of a fully loaded shit and his fucking chest, in front of me, and gets his face in my face, literally. And, oh my god, man, you fucking son of an evil, man. You don't know what you just did. So all that shit, and I said, listen, calm down, man. You just totally got the wrong message. I don't know what was going on with your mind. Everything that I say, you're just so freakishly aggressive. Actually, I didn't say that, no. I know that makes me sound like a pussy. But I did tell him, you got the wrong message, but that didn't make it any better. So, while this man was just all about making all these threats, basically, that you're in trespass, you see how fucking... And by the way, in case you think this is easy shit, man, I actually have gotten arrested one time for trespassing, as crazy that it was, for no freakish reason, literally for a total misunderstanding, where the cop was not willing to listen to me, basically. He was just like, okay, you made my day, cool, I've been trying to do this, and I just got an excuse to do it, so cool, let's do this. And it ended up to be a heck of a work, and I wonder if this happens again to me, because I really told myself, alright, you really should have talked back to this guy, regardless of the way that he talked to you. So it really felt awful, and I think literally I just lost one opportunity that I had, that I could potentially, without traveling anywhere to work, without necessarily showing up anywhere, without seeing anybody's face, I could actually have some potential income coming in, that I could actually do something with it. Maybe at some point down the road I could put my money together and try to actually own a house where it would be mine, and hopefully nobody gets to kick me out of my own very house, unless I guess something crazy happens, I guess. That's because I got kicked out of my sister's house. And before I know it's funny when he said, it's just like, what? So what did you do then? What happened then? Well, my crime was that basically I used to hang around the apartment complex, and apparently that was not that it wasn't desirable, it was actually quite a threatful thing to the people there. So apparently they all send out messages to the office, the people, and at some point, a couple times we got a mail in the apartment saying that you should not be hanging outside, stuff like that. And it's basically I totally disregarded it, because I was like, you know what, why shouldn't I hang out? I don't understand. This is a fucking living place, and this whole area is for residents, so I'm staying here. Why shouldn't I be? And I swear my mother, I never did anything to anybody. I was just hanging outside, sitting in the park, stuff like that little area, playground that they have for kids, stuff like that. And one day, there we go, then all the routes lead back to the fucking policeman. Son of a bitch, man, this fucking mule, he had green eyes and fucking he was a black man, uh, nigger basically. That's it. But that doesn't really make a difference because obviously it's not a racial thing. There are bad people everywhere. And I just like to reemphasize, when I use the word nigger, I don't mean it racially. I really mean it when somebody's a fucking evil. That's when I use the word nigger. But it's potentially, with regard to black people, this is really what bothers me, is that they're the ones who always say that they've been victimized and being mistreated. And when you see that kind of thing coming from them, that's the part that really fucking gets you, and you can't really help yourself talking shit about it. And that's why I really say nigger, And it hurts, man. No, the dude comes up to me and he starts playing all this game, any shit like that. I tell him, I live here at this apartment. We go to the door and we start knocking the door. That was the early morning, everybody's sleeping, which I know everything just like a bad scenery that led to each other. Anyways, he said to me one thing. He said, "Are you on the lease?" I said, "No, I'm not on the lease." He said, "Then you're trespassing here. You can't stay here. You have to leave. You're barred from this property." And that was the whole thing. So literally, I left that place. And yeah, I didn't come back. That was really the start of, this was 2009. And that's what really, for a, how do you say that, chronically I ended up on the street. I mean, before that, yes, I actually left the house. My sister's place that I was staying with, a few times. And for a bit of time, matter of fact, but after a while, I would got some bad, other places that I go to, something would happen, and I would just kind of revert back to her place. And I was like, what, fuck it. Obviously, everywhere I go, I would have problems, so let's just stay here, anyways. But yeah, that was when really chronically, and I felt like nobody, but man, you're very bad people. Like you're purely doing a lot of, I don't know, or the sin, whatever you want to say. You're doing the most awful thing to somebody, basically. And I know psychology. In case you don't know, there's nothing really intellectually wrong or lesson with me. Matter of fact, I think, if not equally, I'm potentially by far quite smarter than average people. I can tell you that. Actually, I'm just saying, but that's another subject. But I'm just saying, there's intellectually enough, so I can see everything, I know everything. It's just that I'm not the one. I've never tried to this day to, I don't know, I don't think from now on it's gonna be any difference, but it just really hurts so bad, which makes you think like, I really need to do something about this situation. I've been thinking today about perhaps reaching out to some senators, to some congressmen, to even writing a letter to this jackass Trump event, something. Somehow trying to get a message out there, trying to get, and matter of fact, this is one of the reasons I'm making this video, and I want to tell you guys and ask you guys, whoever, to spread the message. You gotta stop this thing. Please become conscious. A lot of crimes right in your neighborhoods, in your areas happening. This is the most criminal thing. This is not, why somebody need to be kicked, for, in the middle of the night, in the middle of the day, in the most awful way, on a fucking, this thing of trespassing. And trespassing, you're talking about, what trespassing are you referring to? You're sleeping in the bus stop. It's a bench that belongs to the city, stuff like that, blah blah blah, etc. This is what's called. I had no idea there's such a. Matter of fact, it's funny. Matter of fact, if you don't end up sleeping on the street, basically for the most part, you can even be dirty, or whatever, and nobody really, unless you're me, because I've had people fuck with me no matter what, but depending on the area more or less, but it's like this whole sleeping is that when they get you. Oh, look at him, he's fucked, he's dirty, he's fucking got a beard, he looks like he's crazy, and this fucking son of a jackass, I don't want to even say anything else on top of that, but that's thing. Funny is that this is at the bus stop, and there's a bus driver, there's a black bus driver, and he comes out of his bus, and he goes like, "I want to thank you guys for taking care of these stuff and trying to do this like this and trying to take care of these people and shit like that." And he goes, "Oh, thank you, sir, thank you." You know, you know what I'm saying? And then he did this fucking cop. He was such an evil man, dude. He was like, see, you see why he didn't side with you? He sided with me. I'll tell you why. Because you're a bad, I don't. That was pretty much like that was the moment he was talking. And I think the other dude from the car, came back with my passport, and he was like, he gives me my passport, and he's like, well, we're trying to help you, man. Okay, we're trying to help you. Do you want to go to the shelter? You want to go to the shelter? Yeah, there's a shelter here. Can go there. Yeah. And this fucking dude, his voice is son of a bitch. This happened today. Today is Thursday. I think it's either 6. I can look it up, matter of fact. Yeah, it's December 6, 2018. And this is in Young Circle. There's these two of them. One of the guys is an older man. There's an Asian dude who told me he's been a policeman for 28 years now. So forth. And enough of him, basically. I don't know what to say. I don't know what I need to do to tell you guys what is happening. How does this impact you? I mean, all I can say is that I'm not really productive throughout my day anyways, thanks to all these things that one way or another happens to me. But today definitely wasn't any better or productive anyways, because hold on one second. if you have a sense of humanity, I'm not good in, I don't know, faking things. I'm not good in, I don't know, I'm not good in trying to, I don't know, emotionally necessarily appeal. I'm not good in being like a bitches, necessarily try to cry, or I do things when things hurt me and I react to it, whatever way it has to be. But all I can say is that if you can, this is something that if you have a sense of humanity, which you should, because this can happen to anybody. This is the most terrible thing that is happening in American society. This is a pure Nazi fascist, treatment. There's nothing else to describe this. Getting together, spreading the word with, I don't know, you want to get with some politician yourself, raising the matter, kicking it to your hand, contacting me, however you want to go about this. This is not the only time this happened, and I don't want to talk anymore about these things. I just don't want to remember. There's nothing sweet about remembering such awful things that happened to you. But brothers, for the love of God, please try to do something about this, because I don't know how else to say it. Like today, for like a nice 3-4 hours, literally, I was just jumping around, and the way these things are, especially in this society, you have no idea. I mean, I guess maybe you might do, because maybe you're the one who might have called on people and done that too as well to somebody for no reason. Well, the thing about it is that one thing can lead to another, and I often take my shoes off and walk around because of this thing, because I feel like the energy I have to, when I'm bare feet, I feel like energy can, basically transfer out of my body, negative energy, and that way I don't have to hold it. So that's why what I'm saying is that things lead to another. People are not tolerant. They say, they call and they say, he's standing around my house, he's standing around here, he's standing near the school, which is like, you're right, it's a street, like you have to be, but this is a fucking fascist, secret, whatever, it's a class society. But this is not right. I mean, I don't know how else to say it. I'm doing what I can do, tell you what a crime is happening around you in case you don't know it, and I'm trying to think that, like, you guys don't know about this. Do something about it. I don't know what else I can say. Like, this whole trespassing laws, they need to go away. Or these particularly, like, at least an amendment should be made where, yes, if you actually do believe that somebody's homeless and they're in a compromised position, you should actually let it go, and you should just, not fucking me. It's like, you can't stay here, you gotta go, and it's over the same script. Do something about it. I'm not here by choice. If I had a better opportunity, I would do it. I don't know how else to say it. You don't know how my brain works, how awful, crushing. You don't want to be me. You don't want to be for 1 second. I try to put myself and hold myself together, and I don't know how to say it.